Hey everybody, listen to Radio Havana Cuba's mailbag show. That's right. It's the mailbag show. Here we have letters, email messages from people, our listeners all over the world. And you can join these listeners, these little listeners. Here on the web, you have to participate. That's right, this is a PP. They're called a participatory program, which must be participated in. You have to PP in it. That's right, participate in this thing. And yeah, I'll give you the addresses here so that you can do that. It's P.O. Box 6240, Cuba. That's Post Office Box, P.O. Box 6240, 6240, Havana, Cuba. Quite simple. That's our snail mail address. We call it because it moves like a snail. Gets to us eventually, maybe sometimes. It's a thing where you put that on the envelope, Post Office Box 60, and then you stick it. You put Havana, Cuba. You put a stamp on it, stick a stamp, and stick the mail. And it comes to us. Stick to our mailbag here. Some of these things are actually letters. Some but I think most of these are printed up from electronic mail, and that address is, it's very simple too. It's very simple with the Post Office Box. It's Radio HC at, the funny squiggly A, at enet, E-N-E-T .cu. So that's Radio HC at enet .cu. I'll give you the addresses again in a minute. Now on the program, as we get things here underway, with a message from James. James Brennan, he wrote to us, he is in the United States. He's been having problems with the frequency of 6,000 kilohertz. He says here, dear friends at Radio Havana Cuba, in case you do not know this, tonight and also the other day, it appears that the soundtrack of a movie or a TV show is airing on 6,000 kilohertz rather than usually RHC program. Well, that's kind of strange. Thanks, James. Thanks for letting us know. Problems on the 6,000 kilohertz. We will send this report over to our technical department and see if they know what's going on. I have no idea. Fortunately, I very rarely have any idea what's going on. And this is something else that I don't know what's happening with this. Thanks for letting us know. Our good friend and listener way up there in the United States is from James Brennan. Down under in South Australia, there's Paul Simmons. No, it's not. He's not here, but his email is here. He wrote to us by email. He says, hi, at about 12:30 UTC, I tuned in to Radio Havana Cuba on 13,780 kilohertz. I've attached a reception report. I have placed a short video on YouTube. It can be found, and he gives you a YouTube something over here in my equipment was a dipole antenna. Right? It uses a radio with a dipole antenna. Thanks, Paul. Paul Simmons in South Australia. My interest here will have answered. And we have something from a listener in New York City. This is from Susan. Susan says, hi, I'm in New York City. So, we gave that away. If I was able to hear Radio Havana Cuba at 1400 UTC on August the 16th at 18,780 kilohertz in Spanish, in Espanol. Trying out your Spanish. That's very good. I heard Radio Havana Cuba in English online at Radio Garden at 0 UTC, the same J. My radio is a Texan PL330 with an antenna extender attached to the outside of my home. Smack that up there and use the outside wall of the home. Thanks, we're in New York City. Susan, picking this up and putting us right back in again on Radio Havana Cuba. Thanks, Susan. She also sends something. She goes Radio Havana Cuba on 6,000 kilohertz. The 49-letter band in Spanish, but not in English. And she goes on to say, Susan, I have heard Radio Progreso around 1 UTC on 4,765 and Radio Rebelde on 5,025 kilohertz in the evenings. Alright, Susan. Susan in NYC, the Big Apple, New York, New York, the Big Apple. I appreciate Radio Havana Cuba. Good Lord, always see some great reception reports. David is here with another one, and he actually sent 2 reception reports. One wasn't enough. He had to do it twice, and he doubled his pleasure and doubled his fun with the 2 reception reports. Thanks, David. David Wade always a fine job. He does his detailed reception. You couldn't believe how detailed this guy is. He's really good. We really appreciate it. Thanks, David. David Wade up there in the United States. Right here. Right here. Havana Cuba. And you're listening to the Main Brand Show, our weekly program here on Radio Havana Cuba. Thanks for tuning in. And let me give you the addresses again so you can do that, and I'll do it again toward the end. I want to make sure you get them and write them down now and write to us. Very important you participate in the program. The Mail Bag Show. It's our post office box address. Here it is. P.O. Box 6240, Havana, Cuba. That's post office box 6240, Havana, Cuba. So simple. Our email address, it's also simple. Radio HC at ENET.cu. That's Radio HC at, you'll find Scooby A, the at sign, ENET.cu. Right. Let us know how you take us up. What you do with us once you've got us up there, and how you see it kind of something gently goes down. Right? Goes up, goes right back down. Eugene is in Moscow. Hello, Eugene, in Russia. And he says, we were pleased to read your response to our letter with the report, and we're very happy to receive the confirmation. He and his wife always sent us a reception report, and we were writing back to him. So he's writing back to us to let us know about it. He says, we love listening to Cuban music, and my wife Olga asked me to say how happy she is to get a letter directly from Cuba. She commented that some of her friends were in Cuba recently and took photos at the El Morro Castle with that in the background. Well, thanks, Eugene. Eugene and Olga, why don't you come down? You got friends that come here from Russia and Moscow. We want to see your face in the place. And come by and see us in our studios. You can visit us here in our studios. Call us ahead of time so we know we'll be at the door waiting for you and open it for you, and you can come in and see us. We'd like to see you. Thanks, Eugene. Eugene Kornika. It is. There. In Moscow, in Russia. I'm sorry. I apologize. My Russian is niet. I have niet Russian. Nothing. Thanks, Eugene. Here is a nice email message. Correo electrónico from Robina Akhtar. She is in Bangladesh. She is the chairperson of the Lologa Listeners Club. And she says, dear friends, as you know, I'm a regular listener of Radio Havana Cuba, and I enjoy your programs very mucho. See, she's trying out her Spanish. Muy bien, very good. Very mucho. They give listeners the opportunity to obtain updated and unbiased information about your country and many other parts of the world. Best wishes to your staff. Keep up the good work. Well, thanks, Robina there in Bangladesh. Robina Akhtar. And we hope your Listeners Club is doing well. We will send you some souvenirs, some things in there to your listeners here to Radio Club in Bangladesh. Thanks so much. To you, Robina Akhtar. Lots of email messages about flying people across the street. Around the corner, put us the correspondence department, prints things up and puts them in the bag. Here's an email from Andrew McGuire. Andrew is in the United States. He says he would like a shortwave radio schedule. We'll send that to you. And you were smart enough to send us a street address so we can send that to you. Because it's a physical thing. Or we can also send it to you by email. You might do that too. You will do that, I'm sure. Thanks, Andrew. Martin Smith is in Canada. And he says he's been listening to Radio Havana Cuba for 5 years. Wow, that's good, Martin. Well, I hope you've taken a break, from that. 5 years is a long time. Well, maybe it's probably not consistently. It's like take time to sleep, get something to eat, and then come right back to the radio and listen to us on your shortwave. Thanks. Martin Smith in Canada. Loyal listener. Richard Chen is in, should I have you too big? Richard is also a very loyal listener, a long time listener to Radio Havana Cuba. And he sends his greetings. And Shabba Radix in Guyana. Also strict to us here. And she says her baby daughter recently celebrated a birthday, and we wish the best of health for her child, her baby girl, and to all the folks there in Guyana. In Pakistan, we go to Hassan Abid. He sent a reception report and our broadcast on a frequency of 6,000 kilohertz. He said he listened to it. The signal wasn't real good, but he was listenable enough to know that I was listening to Radio Havana Cuba. And you'll hear that in the audio file that I have attached. The audio file. We'll listen to it. We'll put it on and we'll check it out. I'll know what it sounds like there. On 6,000 kilohertz in English. Way of an impact along the way. All right, and I think we also have one more that we can squeeze in here. Close to it. No, wait a minute. I don't think we can get one more in. Jesus, he's audio operator, then master control. He's waving his hands. I think he's not saying hello. He's saying goodbye. I think we run out of time. But now he's drawing his finger across his throat, like you cut. Die. The program's gone. We'll go back next week. Let me give you the address. Can I do it there? Yeah, okay. I'll give you addresses real quick, but I have to be quick. It's P.O. Box 6240, Havana, Cuba. That's Post Office Box 6240, Havana, Cuba. Our email address, radiohc@enet.cv. See you next week here on the Mailbag Show. Thanks, Jesus. Great guy. He's over there. He's on the other side of the glass. And he's saying it's over. So we'll see you next week right here on the Mailbag Show. Well, we just about out of time for today, but we still have time for some of our headline news stories with a news bulletin.
Cuban President Miguel Díaz-Canel today attended the Meantime Parade in Beijing's Tiananmen Square, marking the 8th anniversary of the victory in the war of resistance against Japanese aggression. Before the beginning of the parade, Díaz-Canel was greeted by his Chinese counterpart, Xi Jinping, who also extended his warm welcome to over a dozen leaders at the commemoration event. The parade paid tribute to the millions of Chinese who perished during the 14-year Iran armed conflict. For over an hour and a half, more than 10,000 soldiers from China's air, sea, and land forces demonstrated the cutting-edge nature of their military equipment and the formidable strength of the Asian giant to the world. The Cuban head of state arrived in China on Tuesday, having previously participated in Vietnam's commemorations marking the 8th anniversary of its independence and the 65th of the establishment of diplomatic ties between Vietnam and Cuba. As part of the work agenda in China, the Cuban delegation will hold bilateral meetings with President Xi Jinping. Additionally, they will visit significant historical and socio-economic sites and also participate in commemorative events in the context of the 65th anniversary of diplomatic relations between Cuba and China. The President of Cuba, Miguel Díaz-Canel, characterized a 3-day official trip to Vietnam, which concluded on Tuesday, both successful and productive. The assessment, conducted during a meeting with members of the Cuban delegation in the Asian country, encompasses all areas: ideological, political, and economic. Díaz-Canel stated that this visit confirmed the Communist Party, state, and government of Vietnam's will to collaborate with Cuba, as well as their awareness of the challenges the island is facing. In the context of the activities marking the 8th anniversary of the August Revolution and the National Day, the Cuban head of state had the chance to meet with Vietnamese top leaders. On the other hand, he mentioned two significant milestones in the history of the relationship between Vietnam and Cuba, to be celebrated in 2026. One of them is the anniversary of the iconic statement made by the historic leader of the Cuban Revolution, Fidel Castro, regarding Vietnam. Quote, For Vietnam, we are prepared to sacrifice even our own glory. End of the quote. The Open University celebrates Army General Raul Castro's first visit to the Asian country, during which he met with President Ho Chi Minh. Concerning bilateral economic cooperation, the Cuban president emphasized that this visit has already yielded tangible outcomes. Less than a year following the state visit to Cuba by then General Secretary of the Communist Party and then also President of the Republic. In this regard, the expert noted that there has been a shift in the business landscape, which presents new opportunities for enhancing bilateral cooperation, particularly in areas such as food production, biotechnology, the pharmaceutical industry, consumer goods, and renewable energy sources. The permanent representative of Cuba to the United Nations, Ernesto Segura Guzman, delivered a speech on Tuesday at the second regular meeting of the UNICEF Executive Board. In his address, Segura Guzman acknowledged the efforts of UNICEF in safeguarding millions of children and adolescents worldwide, particularly in a global landscape characterized by conflicts, geopolitical strains, disparities, poverty, and climate emergency. He emphasized the organization's initiatives to address emergencies and enhance capabilities in developing nations. Along the same lines, he highlighted the importance for member states to honor their financial obligations and official development assistance commitments to ensure the availability of sufficient, adaptable, and reliable resources. The Cuban diplomat underscored the significance of UNICEF's strategic plan spanning 2026 to 2029, as well as the importance of aligning strategic dialogue on children and adolescents with national authorities. This alignment, he stated, is crucial to ensure that the organization's initiatives effectively address the primary challenges and vulnerabilities. In this context, he reaffirmed Cuba's commitment to the comprehensive protection of children and adolescents. The permanent representative emphasized UNICEF's collaboration with his country in pivotal areas such as maternal and child health care, comprehensive early childhood development, violence prevention, climate adaptation, and disaster response. Furthermore, he emphasized the forthcoming 7th round of the Multiple Indicator Cluster Survey, which is scheduled to take place between November 2025 and February 2026. This round will provide high-quality data essential for shaping public policies and monitoring progress towards the 2030 Agenda goals. All in all, Cuba reiterated its commitment to continue with support for UNICEF's mission and to strengthen and expand its collaborative efforts aimed at improving the well-being of children and adolescents.
Welcome to Havana Portraits, where Havana's culture and history meet to bring you closer to this magical city. I'm Daniel Montero, and I'll be guiding you through the most amazing places of the Cuban capital. Today, I'm going to be talking about El Capitolio Nacional de Cuba, Cuban national capital, one of the most remarkable constructions in Cuba, and without a question, one of the symbols of the Cuban capital. Havana's Capitol building, El Capitolio, as we commonly know it, was first thought of as an official palace under the government of José Miguel Gómez. The Cuban state acquired the land and began working on the new building in 1911. But when President Manuel García Menocal came to office in 1914, he dismissed the previous arrangement, ordering that it be the Palace of Congress that be built on that ground. The following presidents would also make changes to the project, with President Alfredo Sayas even stopping the construction in 1921 because of the economic crisis. Interestingly enough, during this period, the area would be leased to a private company that installed there the Havana Park, an amusement park that even had a roller coaster. But under Gerardo Machado's government, work would again be commissioned, at this time to local architects Felix Cavarrocas and Evelio Bobantes. Construction of the Havana Capitol building would start again in 1926. 8,000 men would be employed, with completion taking 4 years in what would be then an entirely new construction experience for Cuba, scale and technology-wise. Although strikingly similar to Washington DC's Capitol building, Havana's Capitol was actually modeled after the Pantheon in Paris. with the marbles and materials used for decoration of the inside brought all the way from Italy, London, Paris, the US, and others, with ornaments made of bronze, gold, onyx, opal, and others, still astonishing the visitors to this phase of Cuban history. Havana's capital Renaissance style, its scale and its luxuriousness spread all over the place, but it is probably most striking the Salón de los Pasos Perdidos, the Hall of Lost Steps, called so because of its acoustics, which give it a mystical spirit to the place. The Statue of the Republic, represented by a young woman dressed in a tunic with a helmet, shield, and lance, stands 14.6 meters high and is considered the third biggest indoor statue in the world, after the Golden Buddha of Nava in Japan and the Abraham Lincoln statue in Washington. The Capitolio also marks the 0 kilometer of roads out of Havana, with every geographic calculation in Cuba taking it as a starting reference point. The building has played its role in Cuba's history since it hosted the Constituent Assembly and witnessed the enactment of the 1914 Constitution, which was groundbreaking for its time. For many years, it was the official venue of the Cuban legislature, with its House of Representatives and its Senate, all carbon copy of that in the U.S. But in 1959, after the victory of the Cuban Revolution, the capital lost its legislative role. It would become the headquarters of the Academy of Science of Cuba, first and later of the Ministry of Science, Technology, and Environment. The Capitol building is considered to be the second highest point in the Havana geography, its dome standing 91 meters above street level and visible from miles away. The Capitolio identifies the area of Havana both geographically and symbolically. Since 2013, the Capitolio has been undergoing major remodeling, bringing the building back to its magnificence and rescuing an important piece of national history, the Capitolio housing again Cuba's legislature. The Havana Capitol building is definitely one of the biggest accomplishments of Cuban architecture. Its construction style and grandeur earning it the recognition of many, some considering it the most perfect construction in Cuba ever. If in Havana ever couldn't see for yourself this architectural gem, right on the border of the old and the more contemporary town. And that is it for today. I hope you liked it and join me again here in Havana Portraits, where you can get closer to Cuban culture and history. I'm Daniel Montero, and I will be waiting for you. See you soon.
And that's it. All the time we have for the first hour here on Radio Havana Cuba's English language broadcast. But you can listen to us tomorrow here on Radio Havana Cuba. We're on the air every day, Monday through Sunday, right here on Radio Havana Cuba. Broadcasting from Cuba, free territory of the Americas.
We're broadcasting in English on Shortwave and real audio online at www.radiohc.cu.
Welcome to Radio Havana Cuba, our English language broadcast. Thanks for joining us on this Wednesday. Nice to have you along. We're bringing our regular edition of international news that's coming up. We'll have our commentary weekly, and the editorial desk. We'll bring in Arch Roundup, cultural news with the Arch Roundup, and then at the end of the hour, 12 hour have the Mailbag Show with all the letters, email messages from our listeners all around the world. Let's get things underway with our national news, Cuban news, and radio.
Cuban President Miguel Díaz-Canel today attended the military parade in Beijing's Tiananmen Square, marking the 8th anniversary of the victory in the war of resistance against Japanese aggression. Before the beginning of the parade, Díaz-Canel was greeted by his Chinese counterpart, Xi Jinping, who also extended his warm welcome to over a dozen leaders at the commemoration event. The parade paid tribute to the millions of Chinese who perished during the 14-year-long armed conflict. For over an hour and a half, more than 10,000 soldiers from China's air, sea, and land forces demonstrated the cutting-edge nature of their military equipment and the formidable strength of the Asian giant to the world. The Cuban head of state arrived in China on Tuesday, having previously participated in Vietnam's commemorations marking the 8th anniversary of its independence and the 65th of the establishment of diplomatic ties between Vietnam and Cuba. As part of the work agenda in China, the Cuban delegation will hold bilateral meetings with President Xi Jinping. Additionally, they will visit significant historical and socio-economic sites and also participate in commemorative events in the context of the 65th anniversary of diplomatic relations between Cuba and China. The President of Cuba, Miguel Díaz-Canel, characterized the 3-day official trip to Vietnam, which concluded on Tuesday, both successful and productive. The assessment, conducted during a meeting with members of the Cuban delegation in the Asian country, encompasses all areas: ideological, political, and economic. Díaz-Canel stated that this visit confirmed the Communist Party, state, and government of Vietnam's will to collaborate with Cuba, as well as their awareness of the challenges the island is facing. In the context of the activities marking the 8th anniversary of the August Revolution and the National Day, the Cuban head of state had the chance to meet with Vietnamese top leaders. On the other hand, he mentioned two significant milestones in the history of the relationship between Vietnam and Cuba, to be celebrated in 2026. One of them is the anniversary of the iconic statement made by the historic leader of the Cuban Revolution, Fidel Castro, regarding Vietnam. Quote, "For Vietnam, we are prepared to sacrifice even our own blood." End of the quote. The other anniversary celebrates Army General Fidel Castro's first visit to the Asian country, during which